users, and welcome to the show. This is the End User Report. In today's show, Vizio hopes lightning will strike twice. Toshiba goes 3D yet again. And we want to know what you think about NG911. But let's start this off with a YouTube viewer response, and I believe you've got that.
Yes, I do. J&A Brock says, love your channel idea. I would suggest going over all writing you have. Your description is full of grammatical errors and slang that I wouldn't suggest you use. It comes off unprofessional, and I believe you all have something good here. Thanks for the list.
And I want to say thanks for the suggestions, and thanks for watching. This was in response to our top 5 Xbox Live arcade games of 2011. And this just comes to me having to do better, honestly. So we're gonna all try to do better in the future. So again, thanks for watching.
Indeed.
But let's talk about the first device that we're looking at today, and that's the Vizio Tablet. It was announced this week that Vizio is going to, well, actually they have dropped the price on their tablet. Originally, you could only get this device through their website or specific retailers, and it was priced at $329. Now, however, the price has been dropped to $299, and you can pick this up at, I believe it's Walmart, Costco, and a few more retailers than you were able to in the past. Here's a quick spec breakdown. It does have an 8-inch display, 1 gigahertz Marvell Armada 600 processor. It's running Android 2.3, aka Gingerbread, 512 of RAM, 4 gigs of onboard storage, front-facing VGA camera, wireless Bluetooth GPS, microSD slot, micro USB port, micro-HDMI out, 3 speakers, weighs about 1.2 pounds, and up to about 10 hours of battery life. So, based on what you know, what are your thoughts on the Vizio tablet?
Well, basically, with regards to my thoughts, I think that this tablet definitely has the potential to be a good option for those users that want a tablet at an affordable price. I know that there have been some issues with regards to the responsiveness of the touch screen, and the fact that it's operating Gingerbread instead of Honeycomb, which Vizio does say that they're aware of that, and there will be an update to the Honeycomb versus the Gingerbread. I think if users can get past that, it definitely will be a factor. I think Vizio, one of the smart things that they did with this tablet is they actually made it so that it is a universal remote, if you will, for your TV, your Blu-ray player, your stereo system. And being that Vizio is now the #1 retailer of LCD HD TVs, in the country, it really is a testament to the fact that they're thinking about the fact that we want you to use this in conjunction with the other devices that you may have. We want to essentially create a whole all-encompassing experience of you using our products. And I think that Vizio has a good reputation. So certainly people who are looking for a low-cost tablet are going to say, I bought a Vizio TV 2 years ago. I love it. It was certainly worth it when everybody was talking about only Samsung makes the best TVs or only LG makes the best TVs, and people were running to Walmart's and buying the 50-inch Vizios and saying, ha ha ha, it's just as good as what you guys are making. So I definitely think that this tablet, being that they've dropped the price to an effective $299, definitely has the chance to make a relevant dent in the market.
Okay. I don't agree, honestly. A couple things. Firstly, Vizio, again, like you said, hasn't ruled out that it might get upgraded to Honeycomb. But I believe that when that happens. Also, the IR Blaster reports are that it's going to work with about 90% of home theater devices in the market. So it's not limited to just Vizio devices. It's going to work with everything. So that's not really I think that's like a non-issue to me. The price is definitely an attraction, but I urge people when it comes to looking at this tablet, please pay attention. If you notice, it only comes with 4 gigs of storage, but only 2 of that's usable after the operating system and everything else is on there. Most of your tablets around this price range are coming with 16 gigs. So if you do your homework and you look at it, you say, okay, well, I can buy a 16 gig card for it. That's going to run you another $60. Add that to the $299. Now you're getting very close to where you're getting to the price of an HP touchpad or an Iconia tab, which comes with a better processor and comes with 16 gigs on board. So I think Vizio is trying to create the illusion that this is a very good bargain. In my opinion, I'm going to say please do your homework and kind of know what you're getting into when it comes to this. Again, at the price of $299, I'm going to say spend a little bit extra money, especially if you're going to upgrade, and you're probably going to want to look at something more of an HP touchpad. In my opinion, last gen specs aren't worth the $299. But moving on from a device that's not as technically advanced to one that's a technical powerhouse, and let's talk about the Qosmio F755 3D. Yeah, it rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
It sure does.
And this is Toshiba's glass-free 3D laptop, recently given the release date of August 16th, and well, here are the specs. This is going to be running a 2 gigahertz quad-core Intel i7 processor, 15-inch 1080p display, 6 gigs of RAM, 750 gig hard drive, Nvidia GeForce GT 540M graphics card, comes with a Blu-ray, a rewriter drive, 1.3 megapixel webcam, wireless and Bluetooth. Right now this is priced at $1699.99. So your thoughts on the Qosmio 755 3D?
Well, my thoughts on the new Qosmio F755 3D laptop is that to me it's just another example of why this 3D craze that the world seems to be entrenched in needs to stop. I get that people like watching movies in 3D. It usually improves the experience. But really, at the end of the day, a good movie is a good movie because of its acting or its plot or the story behind it. You can kind of use the same logic when looking at this laptop. I mean, sure, it's 3D and it's flashy, but really, how often do you need to use 3D? Most people don't have a justifiable reason for needing 3D to get proper use out of it. I just feel like for that price, and I understand that it's pricing high because of the fact that it's using 3D technology, but there are better laptops that you can get for less money. A perfect example would be a MacBook Pro. Unless you're really the average user is not going to do anything 3D unless you're doing 3D charts as a graphic designer or engineering major maybe. Really, you don't need 3D on your laptop. I'm sorry, if you're going to watch Harry Potter, just watch Harry Potter. If you have a good laptop, the sound will be enough. I get that there are college kids watching movies on their laptops because they get kicked out of their dorm rooms. But really, nobody needs 3D. You just don't.
Well, I agree that the 3D craze needs to stop, but I like this device. This seems to have Gadget Guy, and we've talked about them before. They're the guys who everything that's shiny and new is the best, and they got to run out and go get it. This has that written all over it, but I like this device. It gets cool points in my opinion. And here's why. It's not just about the 3D, it's about the specs as well. It's rocking, an i7 processor, fast processor. Comes with a lot of storage. Comparing it to a MacBook Pro, you're actually going to pay less for this than you would for a Mac Pro with the same specs. Technically speaking, I really do like it. I like the fact that there's a webcam on there that actually tracks your head movement, so you can kind of keep the 3D effect even if you move. I like the fact that it has the ability to display 2D and 3D images at the same time. I also like the fact that it attempts to upconvert, if you're watching a regular DVD, to 3D. So for me, it's not just about the 3D, it's about everything else that you kind of get with it. Is a little bit heavy? Well, yeah, it is, but that's what you kind of get when you're dealing with a technical a beast like this. As far as your average user isn't going to go for this. This is a high-end laptop. This is more in the market of the Alienwares, or like you said, the MacBook Pros. It's more in that area. Your average user isn't going to go for a laptop that's got this much. So when you compare it to the other laptops in the price range, what you're getting with this is you're getting 3D in lieu of a larger display. Most of the laptops in this price range have a 17-inch display. This one has a 15, but you're getting again 3D, and you're getting also a Blu-ray rewritable drive, which is something that's rather rare. So I like it. I think people should keep an eye on this. So yeah, I'm actually liking the Qosmio F755 3D. Good job, Toshiba.
I disagree. Sorry.
Well, that's okay. You seem more of the Apple crowd anyway, so that's
untrue. I'm just not a fan of the whole 3D craze. I'm not Gadget Guy's best friend. I don't go to his house for parties where he unveils his newest technological gift.
Alrighty. Let's move on to our discussion topic this week. And today's discussion topic is about NG911, and that's Next Generation 911. And we really want to know what you think. You can actually go to the End User Report official Facebook page and write down your opinion. Basically, the FCC this week unveiled a 5-stage plan in which 911 is going to accept photos, videos, and text messages for emergency situations. So, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I wonder, first of all, if that's going to prevent people from falling asleep while they're doing their job because they get a text message. No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate what 911 workers do, but we have heard stories about people falling asleep and not being as responsive as they should. Sending, ambulances to the wrong address. I suppose if you can take a picture of your mailbox, it might help, Then there's those places where they don't want to go. If you live in the projects and you just say there's somebody being beaten, sometimes they won't show up. Suppose if you take a picture, maybe it'll help.
You're saying 911 is a joke in your town?
No, I'm not. No, in all seriousness, my problem with this is that you get the wrong person. We live in a society with which, honestly, there's way too many people who were dropped on their heads as infants or allowed to eat lead paint chips. Somebody is going to abuse what this is supposed to be doing, which is to essentially, if that you don't have phone service traditionally on a landline phone, this is a way that you can, allow 911 to assess your situation. It's very hard for some people in an emergency to explain what they're seeing. And that's often one of the cases, is that you'll have somebody who says, well, I think my husband's having a heart attack. Well, is he breathing? Well, I don't know, he's blue. Well, what do you mean he's blue? Here, take a picture. He's blue. It's sad that we live in this world. Somebody, though, is going to let their 6-year-old text, tell 911 that they need to send somebody over because they decided to get drunk. Or some high school kids are going to make a mock of, the I've fallen and I can't get up lady and dress up like an old person and pretend that they've fallen on the floor. It's just, that's the reality of it. So while I think that this was set up with the most noble of intentions, I just don't see how it's really going to help 911 other than sort of modernizing it. I mean, I could see if they wanted to allow you to webcam connect so that, you know, if your house had been, you know, if somebody had been stabbed and you were trying to explain where the location of the stab wounds were, or a gunshot victim, that might have some relevance. But, I mean, text messaging 911 is just sloppy, and how do you know the response rate? And then gets into the issue of how do you know that you're getting to a live operator? I mean, are they responding back to you? And you can't read a text message and perform CPR at the same time. So there's just flaws, I think, with it.
Well, I mean, but they kind of have to do this. You know, I mean, they really kind of have to do this. And I just wonder how they are going to, you know, perceive videos and pictures as this qualifies an emergency, we have to dispatch. That's the question that raises in my mind. And of course you are going to have, your high school kids who send obscene pictures here thinking it's funny. I just can't wait for the first, news article because the first guy decides to send a picture of his butt crack to 911 and gets arrested for it.
And how do they determine also in that vein what somebody really thought was a true emergency and what wasn't? Yeah, a high schooler knows the difference between right and wrong. Say you have a 6-year-old who, and this is the sad reality again, lives in a house with a bunch of drunks or drug addicts and finds mommy passed out on the couch and she's not answering him when he wants something to eat and thinks my mommy won't wake up and texts 911. I mean, there are 6-year-olds who can do that. There are 6-year-olds right now who are walking to the store buying their mom a pack of Newports.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, if the 6-year-old's drunk and he sends a text to 911, maybe that should happen.
If the mother is drunk, there's...
Well, that's what I'm saying. If the mother's drunk and not responding and the 6-year-old has the ability to go get a cell phone and is being unsupervised in that nature, yeah, maybe 911 should be called. Yeah. So it's probably a good thing.
I think it's a matter of, with regards to the 911 dispatchers, they really have to be sensitive to some sort of educational, determination. What if there's a one-time message that is sent and nobody responds afterwards, even after 911 is sending a response back? Do you automatically dispatch? Things like that, because...
Well, the last thing I'm going to say about this is how they're going to equate for those situations where you send a text message and maybe 911 doesn't get it till days later. So we're going to have to see. I think that's why they're doing this kind of 5-stage process. And, they're really going to have to work out the kinks, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But that does it for the End User Report. As always, follow us on YouTube,
Twitter.
Facebook, Twitter. We're all over that place. Don't forget to check out our gamer show. Next week, we're talking Dad Central 2. This is Clarence.
This is, a